Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Andrea, aka Bullhorn Betty here. Look what I found. It looks like a lot of people on YouTube. Right here. Right here. This is a real ass right here. Like many people on YouTube. All you need to do is show an asshole a little love. Right? Right? Tell him. What you need to do? What you need to do? Huh? What you need to do? Oh, too many assholes on YouTube. Say it. Say it with me, baby. Say there's just too many people. Too many people on YouTube that look like you, huh? So the next time you want to be an ass, maybe you should come out here and hang out with the ass. Just saying. You want to be a jackass? There's your brother. Peace out. Bullhorn Betty style.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases, head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, hello, my beautiful people of YouTube. How you doing, my beautiful people? It's nice to see you this morning. It's nice to see you. Good morning. Last night we collected 2 new subscribers. Missy, I don't know if you're up this morning. Nola's mom, I don't know if you're up this morning, but good morning. Welcome to the Coffee Club, followed by Starlight. It's nice to see you. We pray every day that he is back as well. Cake is up in the house. It's nice to see you. Our beautiful Jen up in the house. Jules, Lisa, be always. It's good to see you. Be inspirational. Says good morning, beautiful souls. Nice to see you, my love. Manic Mama T's up in the house. It's nice to see you. I am present. Our beautiful Jenna is up here. Who else do we have? Sonia. Sonia's in the house. Good morning, my love. Good morning. Good morning. What else do we have up in here? P.S. Good morning. It's nice to see you. If I miss over some of you guys, I apologize. QRPB. It's nice to see you. Steph. We have Stephanie and Stephanie back to back. It's nice to see you. We probably have a couple Stephanies up in the house. Robin, it's nice to see you as well. QRPB says, been here longer than a month. Yes, we know. You've been around a block, time or two. Cheryl, it's nice to see you up in the house. Good morning, DNA. Harley, Vermont girl, Karen, Elsie, it's nice to see you all here this morning. Blessed, good morning. Bella, good morning. Good morning. Who else do we have? Candy Wrappers up in the house. If I missed you, Angel. Who else is this? True Crime Addict. Good morning, love. Good morning, Katrina. Good morning. Our beautiful Pebbles is here. Good morning. Good morning. Michelle. Who else do we have? Our beautiful Guidance is up in the house. Nice to see you. Nice to see you all. Wow, we got a lot of people talking. All right. Well, that's about as much good mornings as I got. So good morning, everybody else. Good morning, everybody else. It's nice to see you. Sorry, I'm a little foggy. I'm in office too. I can take my glasses off, but it doesn't matter because the camera on this MacBook Pro sucks as opposed to my camera on my iPhone, which I love using my iPhone. That's why I've been using it, because it's clearer. I feel like I can see you, and I can speak to you, and you guys can see me so much better. But it is what it is. So this is, we're just, I think at this point we've got, for those that don't know, we have a big interview this evening, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock Central Time, and you guys get the other times, okay? So Eastern Time's 8 o'clock. So wherever you're at in this country or this world, deduct the time from that. I don't know what time it is for you. But for me, it'll be 8. Okay, for me, it'll be 8. But I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Florida. I can't wait. I'm really trying to keep this Sebastian focused, learning about information about Seth, about his relationship with Sebastian, learning more about Sebastian. We got questions. We have questions about Sebastian. He's a beautiful boy that disappeared. He sucked us in. We're here. We're not going anywhere. And now we need some answers. So I've been working really hard and finally have confirmed tonight at 8 p.m. with both Seth and Tony. So I hope you guys come over. You guys know the rules of the chat. There's, zero policy for BS. We want everybody to have their voice, whether you're for or against. I get it. But we have to do it respectfully. Okay?
That's the only rules. We would be having the same rules if it was anybody else. If it was Chris and Katie up here, same rules. 0 tolerance for bullshit. So if you guys can follow the rules, you'll be able to stay in and participate and be able to talk and chat. But just understand, this is the Bullhorn Betty channel. We've got good mods here, okay, that have dealt with 3 years of BS, so they are very seasoned. They do not put up with anything. I don't run my chat, they run the chat. So if you're blocked, don't come to me crying, okay? You did something that made them upset. If it's a mistake, then they'll correct it. No big deal, okay? But we want it respectful. We want, and I'll tell you, I control this chat. So if you guys get out of hand, it doesn't matter. We've got stuff in place. We will control the chat. So if you guys want to be courteous and stuff like that, we'll keep it open. If you guys, if we get I know you guys aren't the but I'm not talking to my peeps, okay? You guys know who I'm talking to, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people here. And so we just want to make sure that everybody, and if you guys get somebody that's in the chat that's, triggering or, trolling, don't engage. Let the mods deal with it. Okay. Don't attack. We don't do that over here. Okay. We're totally different. Totally different. So I'm very, very, very excited about that. And, really interested in learning some more information. It's going to be like free flowing, but I've already got a kind of an itinerary of where my focus wants to be for this. And if we get through that and we want to open it up and we are going to have an open Q&A, depending on how that all goes, and how late my interview with them is. It depends on how long the Q&A will stay open for, because I'm not going to keep them there all night, because I got things to do. I can't be there all night. So I've got it focused. If we need to have a second, I'm going to ask him if he'll be willing, but I think I've got it pretty buttoned up. We just want to make sure that, Sebastian is the #1 focus of this interview. And I've worked really hard trying to make it so. So we'll see how it all goes. I expect it to be great. I hope you guys are all here for it. And, we learned something new that we didn't know. And that's what it's about. We need to learn about this. Maybe it'll give us some insight. We got people that are out there on the grounds. Maybe it'll help focus some energy to a specific area or something. I don't know. I have not, many people think I talked to Seth. I have not talked to Seth. This will be my first, outside of me being able to tell him that I'm really sorry for everything he's going through and my heart, bleeds, and that he has the support of this channel. Other than that, I have not spoken to Seth. I have not asked him any questions. I have not spoken to him in any way, shape, or form. So this is literally the first time that I'm going to be asking him questions, because I haven't asked him. So I don't know what he's going to say. I've heard him answer some of the questions, so I have an idea about a few of the questions, but just to clarify, I haven't talked to Seth. This is going to be my first time being eyeball to eyeball with Seth, just like you guys. So I'm eager to learn some new information. I'm eager to learn about Sebastian. I'm eager to learn about his relationship with Sebastian. I'm eager to learn about those newer days, like when Sebastian was first diagnosed with some things, what happened, what kind of changes did they have to, just some background information, but keeping it Sebastian focused and oriented. And I think that that's kind of what we need for this. But me, I'm a little prior. I like to pry a little bit, right? I'm nosy. We know Bullhorn Betty's nosy, and she sticks her nose where it doesn't belong. I'm not, leopards don't change their spots. I'm still a leopard. I'm still going to pry. I'm still going to be nosy. So you guys are going to want to be here. All right, guys. So for everybody that's here, you guys know why we're here. We're here because Sebastian Rogers is a 15-year-old boy that has disappeared from his home in Hendersonville. And I mean in his home. He was inside his home, in his bed, when he disappeared from that very home. There were 2 people inside that home at the time that he disappeared. And it's Chris. Let me get that box out of there. There we go. It was Chris and Katie. We have learned that Katie was the only one inside the home at the time that Sebastian disappeared. So Sebastian has been missing since February 26, 2023. And on my other channel, Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories, we went there and listened to that very first interview. And the reason why we did that is because we watched the interview room with Chris McDonough, and he had a guest, Steve Johnson. Steve Johnson was a speech or behavior kind of guy. He's really good at what he does. And they chose the green shirt interview. And the reason why they chose this green shirt interview is because he said he needed to find the new, the latest, one of the earliest, maybe that's the best way to explain it, one of the earliest interviews, because he stated that was the most uncontaminated version of events. And they pulled the green shirt interview. But I remember somebody telling me that they went on a smaller channel at the beginning, and I couldn't remember who that was. I've never heard of Duchess before. I didn't know it, but I came across a Excel spreadsheet early on that I had downloaded, thank God, from this horrible hate group, Facebook hate group called The Mysterious Disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. And I'm no longer associated with that group, even though we brought thousands of people to that group. They kicked me out because I disagreed with how that group was going forward and attacking Seth, when clearly Seth is not the issue in this case. And in that group, we had so I went through that Excel spreadsheet, and although they weren't in order, I was able to find that first link, and it was from a March 3rd interview. He disappeared on the 26th. So you got the 27th, 28th, if there was a 29th, and then 3 days. So within 5 or 6 days, depending, let me just check the calendar for this year. Feb 2024. So February 24th. So he disappeared on a Monday, and the interview was that Saturday. So it was 5, is that right? We had 29 days. So we did have 29 days. So it's 3. So 6 days. 6 days. Within 6 days of their child disappearing, they went on Duchess. Here's the problem that I have with that. There's a lot of problems I have with that interview. The wild changes in their story is very well noted in this interview. But it's the fact that in the earlier days, like in day 1 and 2, when it was the most crucial and critical to get Sebastian's face and name out there because he was a missing boy, right? We know that the 24, 48-hour mark, 72-hour mark tops is when you need to get as much information and eyes on the case as possible, because if, for example, he was taken, abducted, the window of opportunity to get him back is very minimal, right? We know that statistically. So why is he going out there telling camera crews not to record his house instead of getting in front of the camera crews saying, hey, we have a missing boy and we need all hands on deck? That right there was the biggest red flag to me up front. And that is what we heard on the Duchess interview when she questioned him about this news crew and all this other stuff. That's what he said. Let me see. I think I got a little gunk. There we go. Better? No. A little better. So I really think that is a problematic situation, but we did get to hear it, and we heard some wild, and I mean wild, differences in their story than what we heard today, what we are known to believe as the story today. One is there was no thud. We've never heard Katie had fallen asleep on that couch before until the Duchess interview. Her falling asleep for a full solid hour, according to the Duchess interview, magically disappeared. In none of the other interviews have we ever heard her falling asleep. Who knew that she fell asleep on the couch, or believed that she fell asleep on the couch? By shows of 1 and 2s. Just to gauge the audience. Just to gauge the audience. That is something that I was going to say, because listen to this. This is the stuff that's going on in that chat, and I'll get to you guys' poll questions in just a second. Let me read this to you. This is how pitiful it's getting over there. And you guys, I'm not going to tell you one way or another what to do, but to be honest with you, I think that they are bullying him, and I think this has become a bully channel. And maybe don't report it to the admins anymore. because the admins are part of the problem over there. So maybe just start reporting all these posts to Facebook directly and let them address the group as a whole in their conduct. That would be my suggestion. Because from here on out, anything with Ellie Mae Farmer as an admin, I'm staying away from. She likes to drive a narrative, and that's one thing I denounce. That's the one reason why I'm here, is because I think mainstream media drives narratives, and I don't like narratives. I like truth. And this is one. Paul, please turn yourself in. This is from their group. The admins. Now, you can't post anything in these groups without the admins approving it. Okay? So if you go over there and you're a member of that group and you want to say something, you type it in and they have to approve it. So this is what the admins are approving in this chat. Now, mind you, this Paul guy, this is a dox. This is a dox. This is related to Tony. And people, and these admins know it. And they allowed this doxing to continue in their group. Again, tired of the bullshit. And it's under an anonymous member, which I can tell you, they know exactly who posted this, and still let it go through. Paul, please turn yourself in. You may not have killed Sebastian, but you helped bury him, allegedly. Don't think Ellie isn't following your red truck and that the money that you paid, that was paid to you. KP and CP will go down before you. She probably ratted you anyways. If you want less prison time than the others, you'll go in now and talk. Do the right thing. Okay? Now what's going to happen is this is posted anonymously. They've approved it to go into this group. So what happens now? You want to hear what happens now? So now one of these content creators that's in this back channel, they'll go over there and say, ooh, look at this. And then they'll grab this anonymous that one of their friends just posted, and they'll take it to their channel and say, guys, look at this. And make a whole show on it, bringing in 1,200 people on a bullshit post that they created themselves to talk about it. That's some sick shit. And that's what they're doing in these groups. Creators are creating their own content by using these anonymous accounts and troll accounts to put outlandish stuff out there, and then they go and pull it and say, look what they posted in this group. I wonder if it's true. Yeah. I'll keep going. You don't want to piss Bullhorn Betty off. I'm just saying. Especially ones that know the game. I never played the game either. Just to let you know. Never played it. But I learned it. I had no choice. Betty, you don't need a damn group anymore, girl. I know. No, I got my own name. I got my own platform. I don't need help from anybody. And you know what? At the end of the day, who has helped me? Every person I've ever trusted has hurt me and tried to injure me in some way, shape, or form except Chronicles of Olivia. Every single person out here. There's not one person I trust on these streets. Not one. I trust me. I stand alone. I'm perfectly fine standing alone. I don't need a damn person. I need you guys, because you guys are what takes the ball and takes the message, but I'm not engaging in this. No. All right, so the question is, good morning, oh, Allie, it's nice to see you. So we have majority ones in here. We got Nikki's a 2. Didn't know. Yeah, so you guys didn't know. Some of you guys heard that she fell asleep. Some of you guys didn't know that she fell asleep on this. But this is a wild different change than what we were led to believe recently. We've never heard about her falling asleep on the couch other than Duchess. So why? Why did that get removed? If she fell asleep, why does she not need to let people know she fell asleep? I mean, if she fell asleep and something woke her up, that's one thing. But it's kind of hard to say you fell asleep, you woke up at 10, and shortly after that went to bed. And then when they repeat that, you say, oh no, it's midnight. That's not shortly after waking up. That's 2 solid hours of waking up. Shortly after waking up is within a few minutes. And that's not what she said. Good morning. Good morning, guys. It's nice to see you. Yeah, there's people all over the world here and here. Because, I mean, this is a case that has brought people. You know, we're very concerned about this. And what's so disgusting about this, do you guys remember how Chris thought we would hate this boy if we learned more about him or learned about what happened to him? these parents have never been very understanding with this child. Where is it? Is it Lisa B. Always? Lisa B. Always sent me something, and I went over it this morning on TikTok. I'm going to be dropping. I just got the video uploaded. I just got to make a thumbnail. So about an hour or so after this live is over, I'm going to be dropping that video when we go over Lisa B. Always. Is that right? Do I have that right? Let me go back up here. I got it right. Yes, Lisa B. Always. We go over that and another one of our subscribers' theories. We had a total of 3 different theories that we went over on the TikTok, and I'll be dropping that in about an hour or something like that. But right now, sorry, I've been drinking milk, and when I start drinking milk, I don't know what it does to my throat, but I love my lattes. So it's either have a little weird throat here and there, or lose the lattes. And I'm not losing the lattes, guys. I'm sorry. I love you guys, but you're just going to have to deal with my man voice here and there when I drink milk. Okay? It just is what it is. So Sebastian Rogers, we've been speaking a lot and been taking a lot of time to go over this particular case for a variety of reasons. We are starting to fact find some of the statements that were made by Katie and Chris, as well as Seth, to find out if this boy would even walk out or even be able to walk out with all of his ailments, disabilities, his sensory issues, and other quirks that he has. And according to Katie and Chris, on one hand, they're telling us how he doesn't like going outside. He doesn't hang outside. He doesn't like dirt. He doesn't like bugs. He doesn't like this. He doesn't like that. He has sensory issues, allergy issues, and always has to wear his shoes. Though he defies all of that in their attempt to persuade us that he walked out the front door. However, every single expert, every single person that I've spoke to, every single person that has an autistic child, from a variety from nonverbal to completely needs full assistance the rest of their life, to a higher functioning autistic child that's on their own, balances a checkbook, lives daily lives like there's nothing wrong. And they're everything in between. And one thing that I have learned through all of this is that this child most likely would not walk out. There was 100% of everybody I asked that has experience with autistic children, from bus drivers to educators to actual parents, grandparents, and friends of people with autistic children. And 100% of them stated they do not believe this child could or would have been able to walk out of that house in the middle of the night without having a complete meltdown. A high percentage, not quite 100%, but a high percentage believe that his day was overexerting and may have led to him having behavioral issues when he got home. We're not bothered about your man. Lattes are important. If you guys want me bringing you content, I gotta have energy, okay? And nothing quite gives me energy like a latte. You guys watched me for years. I drank 2 to 3 pots of coffee a day. Since I went to espresso, I drank maybe 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day. Big difference. I don't know if the caffeine intake's different, but the number of drinks are different. Just say it. And it's much more tastier than Maxwell House. Just say it. Just saying. So I quit drinking milk for years, and then I got on this latte, and it's all courtesy of my horrible mods that like to keep me completely energized and fat. Okay? Blame them. It's all their fault. I'm telling you, all of them. All of their fault. Mostly Miss Robin and her peppermint mocha. But they're all contributing to the delinquency of Bullhorn Betty. I'm just letting you know. It's my mod's fault. Blame them. All right, guys. So what do we have here? We have a situation where a boy allegedly walked out a front door. Many of us do not believe. It started with you. It started with you. A boy walked out the door. So we have to look at whether the theory or the statements of the parents that this child walked out the household with water. I'm going to say it doesn't. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that it doesn't hold water for a variety of reasons. Oh, thank you, Miss Sonia. God bless you. Tammy says he could have had an episode where he was overwhelmed, indeed walked out that night. Ellie is saying, do you have an autistic child, Tammy? I'm just curious, because I've talked to, if you want to see my email, I will be happy confidentially to show you my emails. But I'm telling you, I've literally had educators. I've had school drivers that pick up autistic children specifically, disabled, that go pick up the group of children, most of them autistic. Let me leave it like that. Actually, the bus driver in here can clarify that for me if she wants to send me the another email to clarify was she just picking up disabled children, or if this was just specifically autistic. I don't know. I don't know if I asked her that or if it was specific. But this is my problem, is that I'm talking to people that are dealing with this every single day. And if you'll understand that I do ask a lot of questions when I need to ask a lot of questions. And the problem I'm having is nobody that has an autistic child, deals with an autistic child, or deals with an autistic child that has these types of tics believe that this specific child would leave the house. While I understand you want to group him with everybody, we're not talking about every child. We're talking about this specific child right here, Sebastian Rogers, and if you know anything about autism, each person is different from person to person, and what their tics, what their triggers are, and everything else. For him, based upon his parent statements, based upon the stuff we know about him, yes, there is possibility could get overwhelmed and walk out. We're not talking about a child. We're talking about Sebastian Rogers and whether he could. And he could not, based upon everything that's being said. He would have had a freaking meltdown outside without shoes, in cold, cold, cold weather, and with dirt getting between his toes. He would have had an absolute, utter meltdown. Now, other children, I don't know. But based upon what his family is saying about him, that's what is being said about this child. Not everybody else, just this one. So that's just kind of my take on it, take it for what you will, and I get your position, and I understand that you really don't, you have a different mindset and stuff, and I do appreciate you being respectful in the fact that we agree to disagree on certain topics, but that's just my opinion, I really don't believe that this child would walk out. I'm not saying that other children may not walk out. I just this child. But thank you for that, and good morning. So, and I think anybody, and I'd like to learn, Tammy, maybe you've talked to other people. I don't know who you've talked to or what work you've done for this. So, maybe send out, but I'm happy to show you what I've got. But the stuff that I'm getting, and the stuff I'm reading, and the stuff that I know to be true for this case, it just doesn't bode with this case, for me. In my opinion, I have 2 autistic kids, and mine have a lot of the same issues as Sebastian. One high functioning, one middle, and neither would go outside without shoes. So it's just a tic from some people. And you know what? Another autistic child may be the same way, but with something else. He might be the same way, say, with a hat, or the same way with a shirt, or the same way with a game, or the same way with another object that they have to have. So it's not, for Sebastian, it's the shoes. For another child, it might be something else. So, but the behavior of having to is the same. The behavior of them having to have that item with them, or having to put that item on, the behavior is still the same from child to child, but their tics are different from child to child. But they, and I guess that's even wrong too, because even the tics and stuff like that are at different degrees. So it really does depend on the child specifically, not just generally. If I was 20 years younger, I'd be sweet talking, beautifully up. Why, thank you. Margie. Well, I don't agree that. You guys need to understand what's really going on, Margie. I think everybody is being misled because somebody did something really, really dirty and now has to do damage control on that. Just saying. I wish people would connect the dots behind the scenes as well as they connect the dots on these true crime cases. I think you guys might be enlightened a little bit in why we're in the situation that we're in. Just curious, you said you went to college. Did you go to college? No, I actually went to college for paralegal work, to work in law offices, which I worked in for over a decade. And I know you probably, but I don't even, when I worked under the attorney, I didn't need a private investigator's license because I was at the direction of an attorney, just FYI. So if you really want to know, yes, I have the experience because I think that's what you were trying to rudely and, snarkily insult or imply. But yes, I do have qualifications that allow me to do the job that I do and do it well. My nephew, who is 9, is autistic. He can't even go eat for an hour without getting antsy and throwing a fit. His comfort is at home. In public, it's too long. It's not good for him or my sister. So there you guys have it. These are issues that these children have. It's different from child to child. We're not talking about other children. We're talking about Sebastian and whether Sebastian would leave that house in the middle of the night. And according to his own parents, they're implying he would not. They're saying everything that shows us that he would not walk out the door while trying to convince us that he did. That's the problem I have, and nobody has been able to satisfy that with me. Tammy says, no, 2 children are the same. We must take into consideration. I have custody of 2 of my grandchildren. One has had needs. The other didn't. One was child that would roam, so I took safety precautions. Okay, gotcha. So you do have some experience with this type of ailment too. And do you think your children, or one or all of your children, would leave the home in the middle of the night? You think it would be possible for yours? Because I like I said, I like to pick people's brains when I don't know, and I don't, I'm learning from everybody else. I have 2 nonverbal ASD, and they are both completely different. They could have lied about the shoes to begin with. My son would hike a mountain barefoot if I let him. Interesting. Yeah, and I also heard that with autistic children, this is one thing I've noticed about them from person to person. I didn't know it. I don't think they noticed it at first, but I know I said it on here, and people were like, yeah, I think you might be right. But one thing I noticed is how important video games are to autistic children. I don't know if it's just the repetition of it that they like or what, but they really, it seems like every single one of the parents, indicated some type of game that their child just absolutely loved. And it was just their kryptonite. In my opinion, he was put outside for punishment without shoes and ran away because she wouldn't let him back in the house. Just my possible theory. The only reason, everybody's been saying that because I watch Peter Hyatt too, and obviously Peter Hyatt's an expert and great in his field, so I always try to, garner as much, experience from people. Whether I agree with some of the stuff they say or not, you're never going to agree with people 100% of the time. But one of the reasons why I never thought he was put out of the house for punishment is because I identified how prideful Katie and Chris were, and how they were so adamant about, especially up front, about nobody thinking that they had problems, and how they were so, it seemed like it triggered them every time we talked about them in a negative light, and it just made me feel like they had this facade for so long that they had this facade that their neighbors thought that they were perfect. Maybe he was a little grumpy, blah, blah, blah. But, pompous. It just didn't bode with their personality that they would show weakness by putting their child outside and locking him out. And I feel like that would have been something the neighbors would have saw, that would have looked down on them. And I just feel like they're so adamant about their image that they would never allow something like that to happen, to tarnish that image. So it's the psychology behind why I don't think that that's possible. Not that it's not possible, and I may be completely off base, where Peter is talking about their verbal cues and I'm talking about the behavioral cues. And it just, there's just two differences there. But I still think he would have been freaking out. If his mother put him out without shoes, he would have been throwing a temper tantrum right out the door, making a scene. Like it would have been a shock to his system. I feel like it would have been this horrific triggering event that would have been so noticeable to everybody, because it's not just about putting a child out. I mean, this is a child with autism that regularly has outbursts. Like, he doesn't think about his outbursts causing attention for his mom, because they don't think like that. They just have a problem they don't know how to handle, and they react the way that they react. My understanding, though. I found Summer Wells. That's no integrity in these YouTube streets, so I had to bring my own integrity. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Jen. God bless you. That's a great thing. Compassion for Sebastian. I like that. Compassion for Sebastian. It has a good ring to it, too. Thank you, Lisa B. Always. That's really nice. I have a customer who is autistic. One can have a very various degrees of autistic. Yeah, and not only that, but in the degrees, there's like multiple different. It's like I always say, I try to make things understandable. Like back in the days when we had cars, like the cars from the 80s, they had 3 windshield wipers, right? They had low, medium, and fast. Now you have 3 settings and 3 settings inside those 3 settings. So you have your low setting, but you can do a low, a medium low, and a high low. Then you got your medium, and you can do a low medium, a medium medium, or a high medium. And you got your fast, and you can do a low fast, medium fast. So now you have, it's like that for me. That's the best way to describe it, is that it's not just 3 groups. It's groups inside of groups when it comes to autism. And there are different, differences. Oh, thank you. God bless you guys. Oh, wow. Nice to see you. And if you guys received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership from Sonia or Jennifer, oh, look, and Kimberly, please don't forget to tell them thank you. God bless you all. God bless you all for that. Yes, KP put him outside, then fell asleep. When she woke up, he couldn't find him, called CP. CP came home. That's when he did. Oh, that could make sense, too. That could make sense, too. Did they have a search group? Huh. Interesting. Interesting. But I still think the camper is key, because the camper he went back to too soon. I just feel like the camper has something. There's something with the camper. 17 hours to go get a camper that was 3.5 hours away. There's something with that. I don't care. There's just something with that. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to... what time are we at? Okay, we're doing good on time. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. If you guys would like to call, you guys can. I'm going to be dropping that new video. I just got to make a thumbnail. And I'll be dropping that new video as soon as we wrap up here, about an hour to 2 hours after this. But I just want to hear your thoughts. This is what I'm kind of, and you guys can talk about whatever. I'm not going to stop you, obviously. But if you have any information related to whether you think he walked out of the house, how you think he left the house if he didn't willingly walk out the house, or where you think he might be. If you can't say it specifically, maybe say something like near the home, further away from the home, all the way, back where his work is. Anything like that. If you have anything that you'd like to say, go ahead and say it. Like I said, I'm not going to really stop you from, if you have any good conversation, wholesome conversation about this topic. But if we can try to tell me about your theories on those things, that would be excellent as well, because that's what I'm kind of looking for. So let me get the phones turned on here real quick, and then we'll get started. Just see if we got them on. Yeah, it sounds like we're on. You guys could hear all that? Could you guys hear that ringing? You should have been able to hear the ringing. Hopefully everything... I don't have any equipment on the computer to jam it up like we usually do. And I don't know what's going on, but I think it has something to do with this connecting to the phone. This is Betty.
Hey, Betty. How are you?
I am doing well. Who's this and where are you calling from?
This is.
I think you just broke up. Hello?
I'm calling from West Virginia.
Oh, there you are. Okay, I can hear you now. So what do you think? What do you think about this this case? What do you think about what's going on with this case?
I've been watching a lot of this on here, mostly you. Here's what I think. I think that Katie brought him home, and I believe that Chris was on his way back to pick him up, and hightailed it back to wherever he was working with the little boy.
Gotcha. Oh, is it echoing? Hold on just a second. They're saying you're echoing, so give me just a second. Let me fix the audio real quick. Echo cancellation, because I didn't have my condenser on. There you guys go. You guys shouldn't have echoing now. So you think that he did make it home, and what do you think happened? Do you think that, well, let me ask you this. Do you think it was planned, or do you think something just set off?
I think it was planned.
Oh, okay. So you think...
I believe that she took him out for his last dinner.
And why do you think that they decided to make this decision? Is there any kind of philosophy behind that for you?
I don't think that she wanted his father to have him.
Gotcha. Okay, well, thank you so much for calling. And is there any other things that you would like to state about the case that's been bothering you? That you know, what do you think is the most important part of this case for you?
For number one, I don't understand why that they've never really pulled them in for more questioning, and why the FBI has never been involved.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yep.
And I've got a brother that's autistic, and you can't get him hardly out of the house if it's storming or cold or wet, and he's 50 years old.
Right. And so what is your opinion on whether you think Sebastian, knowing everything that Chris, Katie, and Seth said specifically about Sebastian, do you feel that he would have willingly walked out of the house in the night?
Absolutely not.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate your call. Thank you so much for participating, and please call back.
Thank you.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You too.
So that's been kind of what I'm getting, because, I really do try to ask these folks, their opinions about this. This is Betty. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
This is Barb from New York State.
Well, hello, Barb. How are you doing, and what do you think about this this case?
I think it's horrific, and I think the stepdad and mom are hiding things. I do believe Sebastian made it home because neighbors have camera footage of lights going on and off in different rooms of the house. I just think Katie snapped, and then she tried to cover her tracks, that's all.
Do you think the 3-hour call was... What do you think the 3-hour call was about?
Planning on the after effect.
And do you have any experience with autism or autistic children, family, friends?
I have grandchildren that are mild on the spectrum, and they're definitely affected by sensitivities that bother them.
Do they have a tendency of leaving on their own? You said they're mild, so they probably function normally, don't really have a whole lot of discomfort through the weeks and functions and stuff like that. Is that my understanding?
My grandchildren were very, like they would just run off thinking it was a game, but they were much, much younger than Sebastian.
Gotcha. And based on everything you've learned about Sebastian's case, what is your opinion on whether you think he walked out of the front door willingly or not?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for calling. God bless. Thank you for participating, and please call again.
Thank you.
So again, we're asking the questions, and I do that often because, again, I'm curious. I personally want to know. I want everybody to hear the information I'm getting. This is Betty. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hi, Betty. Good morning. My name is Tammy.
Well,
I was in your chat, and I'm calling from Ohio.
Well, it's nice to hear you, Tammy. So what is your thoughts about everything?
Okay. Well, what happened with me is I had 2 grandchildren that I took custody of temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
One was 18 months and one was 3
when
I got them. So they were very young. But the older one did have some needs. He could not speak only a few words, and he was 3. He still had potty training issues. So what I did was I took him in to get him evaluated, which is what you should do. Now, I did have them for several years, but what you have to take into consideration is as they age, this is what I experienced and learned through therapy and therapists and everything. Every year that they're growing and aging, their body is going, of course, through changes. So I had them for like 4 years. And as he began to grow, of course, with therapy, speech therapy and meeting all of his needs, he began to excel. But as he got older, that's when the roaming began. At first, there was no roaming. So, and then they explained to me that if it continued and he did not move to another stage, that as he became a teenager, which is why I'm calling, their chemistry will change. And maybe something that did not trigger them at a younger age, because there's so much chemistry going on, that something can trigger them. And like with my grandson, he had a nightmare. And he ran out of the house with no shoes, only his pajamas. It was winter, and I heard the door. And I went running after him. And he had a nightmare.
Did he have any kind of like episode? Was he screaming, or did he have anything, or did you just hear the door?
He just went.
Gotcha.
And I heard the door. So I went running after him. There was snow on the ground, probably a foot of snow, and it was snowing. And he was barefooted. And it didn't seem to bother him. That's what I'm saying. His sensories were not like my sensories.
Gotcha.
Can you understand what I'm
coming from? Yeah. That's why I ask people for this information, because right now, we're getting perspectives, and everybody that I've been talking to is giving me, and they go into explaining some stuff like this. So I do have some understanding of it. And I do have like 2 or 3 other people that have children that have eventually went into disappearing themselves, and they keep them.
Had I not had alarms, because I had put all safety devices on windows, doors, and alarms for that particular reason. He didn't even notice that the alarm was sounding.
Gotcha.
I mean, there was like he had no, his mind was set, I'm leaving, I got to go. But a nightmare is what triggered him. And he thought that his mom was coming to get him, and then she drove away because his mom hadn't been there for a while.
Gotcha.
So that nightmare triggered him. So we do not know, and we have to be careful. Children do have episodes, especially children with needs. And their sensories may not be like yours and may not be like mine. I ran out after him barefooted because I didn't have time to even think. And he was there barefooted, and I'm trying to calm him down because he wouldn't let me touch him.
Gotcha.
That's whenever I went up and literally touched him, that's when the screaming started.
Gotcha.
That's whenever he was triggered. And then, so I had to calm him down, and I'm barefooted, freezing. And he had no sensory like me.
Gotcha.
So we have to take all this into consideration. And maybe he was sensitive to certain things younger, but did he have a nightmare that night? Could have something have triggered him that, yes, he could have possibly 100% walked out the door, and he could have taken off. Maybe he didn't mean to get maybe lost, or something happened to him after that fact, but we have to listen to law enforcement. We have to...
Yeah, but law enforcement isn't saying he walked out of the house. That's the problem.
Law enforcement is saying there is no evidence of foul play.
And that's not what they're saying either. That's not what they're saying. No, it's not. This is exactly what they're saying. They have told us that this case has changed, that they are entertaining. They actually came to the public and said, we are now entertaining the possibility of foul play. That's exactly what they said.
When did they state that? Because
they said that on day 8. Day 8 of this investigation, when Chris and Katie went and did that interview.
I'm talking about the law enforcement interviews, the press conferences that they've had. And I have to go by that.
No, they said it on camera. They said it on camera. I'll if you send me an email, I'll send it to you. They specifically said on camera on day 8 that they now have to entertain, while there's no evidence of foul play, they now have to start entertaining the possibility of foul play. It came right out of Eric Craddock's own mouth on camera.
Okay, well, I'm going to go back and pull up every LE.
It's not on a press conference. It's on a news conference. He didn't say it on a press conference. He said it to the news under a news interview, and it was, I think, with a lady. But it was out there at the scene of when they were searching, and I think that it was when they were searching the landfill. It was shortly, like when they were ending the landfill search and they were starting to pull back resources. The very first time Eric Craddock came on the news and said that, you know, they have to start entertaining foul play. Even though there's no evidence of foul play, they need to now start entertaining it. And that's when the case, when Eric stopped talking to media and everybody at all, which implies that there is a major investigation going on behind the scenes, because that's the only time they start shutting up.
Well, okay, I'll go back and I will look at every interview again. But I also had a granddaughter that ran away as a teenager. And law enforcement did tell me, do not search, stay home by the phone in case she does come here. And it was 2 weeks. And believe me, it was not easy. It was a very, very long 2 weeks. And you go through so much when a child goes missing, mentally, emotionally. And these families, they're already wanting to blame themselves. You know, could I have done something different? What should I have done?
Hold on, Tammy.
We
Let
have
me
to
just stop you.
all of that.
Hold on. You're talking about your emotional state when you were going crazy for your son, your child or grandchild for 2 weeks. This lady has not done that. She didn't go crazy. She's not crying. She has no emotion. She's not feeling anything. She's shopping for motorcycles. I don't think that that's you. I think you are putting yourself in this situation for your situation, and you're having sympathy and pity on people that aren't you. And her behavior.
No, I cannot say that anyone is guilty. They are innocent until proven guilty, and that's how I am. And maybe I'm different.
But they have to be accused. Wouldn't you agree that everybody has the opportunity to go before the court as innocent, but they have to be accused of the crime, right? They have to,
exactly.
Okay.
They have not been accused.
I'm accusing them.
And they have not been arrested. They are innocent until proven guilty. And I'm sorry if my opinion is different. I get it. But it's due to experiences that I had myself.
Right. And that's personal to you. And I get your position, and I know, and not only that, but you know, I mean, I get it. But this case, I have to trust what they're saying out of their mouth. And they're telling us this child would not leave this house, but trying to imply that this child left this house. And that's what I've got to go on. They're
maybe something was changing in his home environment.
It was.
And he had a nightmare. Anything could have happened. We have to keep that in mind. But I don't want to hold up other callers.
All right, Tammy, I do appreciate you calling, and I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I'm just trying to understand, because I'm polar opposite of you. So I apologize, but I thank you for being a great sport.
Yeah, and I'm just coming from a grandmother that had a special needs child that did, do things that was not what we would call typical,
Right.
and a teenage granddaughter that ran away. So I'm coming from two experiences that I had to go through and understand.
Well, Tammy, I do appreciate you. God bless you for what you do for your grandchildren. And, I pray for that this boy comes home, and I appreciate you explaining your story. I really do. I'm just,
Okay,
it's still hard for me. It's still hard.
Well, it's easier to keep an open mind than it is to falsely accuse. And I can't do that. I'm sorry.
I'm not falsely accusing. I actually did the work. I've got a lot of stuff that in many of these cases that I don't bring to light for a variety of reasons, but I don't have to satisfy anybody but me, because I'm the one that has to own it.
Okay. Well, thank you for hearing me, and you have a wonderful day.
You too, Tammy. God bless you.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
That's sweet. That's sweet. And see, you know what? Tammy and I are on two totally polar opposite, arguments. We didn't debate each other. We didn't debate each other personally. We debated each other on the issue. You don't need to club each other over the head. She had her point. I had my point, and she has different experiences than I do. Right. So, and she could very well be right. I could very well be wrong, But I got to say that I look at a lot of behaviors, and I'm a behavior person, and I check whether behaviors are normal and customary to certain stresses in life. And they're like, I truly believe if Tammy was a wreck when her grandchild was missing. I truly believe that. I believe Tammy, the one that just called here, is a beautiful grandmother that loves her grandchildren without a doubt, and I just feel that her situation is not unique, but I don't think it applies necessarily to Sebastian. But who knows? We are going to have an interview tonight with Seth. We'll be asking him about, all the tics of Sebastian that he knows, recent ones. And I think maybe that'll help you, Tammy. Maybe if you hear that these are recent stuff, or these are behaviors he does recently, not something he's grown out of, maybe that'll help you in your own analysis and opinion. But I never accuse innocent people of anything. As a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why I'm fighting so hard for Seth, because people are accusing an innocent man of horrible things that he did not do. Now, one thing we do know is that Chris and Katie have talked about CPS in their house and being involved. And those CPS reports were withheld from Seth. And when Seth did get those CPS reports, he did not look pleased. So, Tammy, I don't think you have CPS reports that have the information that their CPS reports have in them as well. And I hope you take that into consideration, too, because you do have autistic children, grandchildren, and I doubt you would ever want to support anybody that has hurt a disabled child. And I don't think that I don't think you would ever treat your grandchildren or punish them the way that Chris has been punishing Sebastian. And so I hope you look at that as well. But that's just my opinion. And how do I know what at BHB? How do I know that there was things that when Seth could not talk about what was in those Department of Children and Family Services, and his face went white, and he says, but I know what went on inside that home. That told me everything I needed to know about what was in those reports. He didn't have to say a damn thing. It was all over his face. It was all over his face. Cheers, I disagree with that. How do you know? How do you know? And Cheers, I hope you come up here. Let's turn on the phones. I hope you call in and speak to me about that, because I'd like to explore that. This man, he's not good either. He failed him. How did he fail him? Are you talking about 20 years ago when they went through court and they went through family therapy and counseling and got their system like a well-oiled machine? This is Betty.
Hey, Betty, it's Barbara from Texas. I have a question for you.
Sure.
One of the things I want to know, because I'm all over the place with this case, I've called you before. Will you ask Seth to explain what were Sebastian's other disabilities and how did that affect him? Nobody's ever answered that. They've said he's got this and he's got some other things, but what is it?
Believe it or
And
not, it's
how
on,
would they affect?
I've got it on the list. That is exactly one of the questions that are on the list.
God.
Yeah, I went through the list thoroughly because I wanted to make sure that this was about Sebastian, and so we can understand Sebastian. I think that if we understand Sebastian and who he is, I think it might clear up some of our questions. So I really kept a lot of the questions Sebastian focused, and those are part of the questions that I've got.
Oh, thank you. That's what I'm wanting to know. I mean, I don't believe he walked out, but being a mother and a grandmother, it was just like Leilani Simon. Nobody wanted to believe that a mother could do that to her child.
Mm-hmm.
But what I don't understand is how he just disappeared.
Yeah,
kind of like Summer Wells. He just vanished, and I don't know what.
I really believe if he walked out the door and something happened to him, they would have found him by now.
He would have been spotted on a camera somewhere.
Or even just the amount, he wouldn't have gotten that far. Just the amount of walking, they would have found him in those woods. The dogs would have tracked him. They would have found him. There's no, in my opinion, the fact that the dogs couldn't even track him from his front door to any place is what was so bothersome to me. And that's what the tracker said. He went on the news out there and said in his, I think he said like in his 30 plus years of experience, might have said 20 plus years, but I'm pretty sure he said 30 plus years of experience. He had never had anything come back with nothing. He says, they've got nothing.
Yeah. And then with CP and his camper, my husband's retired Air Force. Been retired for 20 years, but I'm here to tell you right now with our camper, it is broke down and we are on the road in less than an hour, period.
Yeah. I've never heard of
it. It takes no time.
No time at all. You throw everything in the middle of the aisle and you close everything in and you pull out.
It takes no time at all. I don't understand this. I don't know. I'm all over the place, but I would like to know more about Sebastian tonight, about his other disabilities and how they affected him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I called.
Good. Yeah, it's on the list. We have it, and we will also have a Q&A. So if I do happen to miss something, you guys are more than welcome to inform me of those. I'll try to catch good questions and star them and wait till the end of the show and ask all my starred questions. So I'll try to keep a good eye on any questions that in the chat that that's not on my list, and try to ask them at the end in the Q&A section.
I would definitely tell the mods before it even started, slow the chat down. It's going to be jam-packed tonight.
Yeah, my mods. That's what when I've been on lives, if you notice, my mods have been going in there and changing the moderation levels and stuff like that. The reason why they were doing that for the last few days is to make sure they all knew exactly how to moderate the chat. So when it does start popping, they have a way to control the chat. So
exactly,
we've got, because I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to be handling the interview, so we had to make sure that they could moderate everything while I'm in chat or while I'm in the interview.
I'm glad you're finally doing an interview. Finally, the questions are going to get asked, and that's the most frustrating part. People not asking the right questions. Oh my goodness.
And I'm hoping that, maybe Katie and Chris might change their mind and give me, come on here and give me the answers that I'm asking for as well. Because, I don't bite. I'm truly here for the child. And if they're truly here to find answers for their child, then why are they avoiding me?
Right. Exactly. You'll give anybody the benefit of the
Absolutely.
doubt. Absolutely. It's a really vast question.
But when you duck, bob, and weave, that's telling me something as well.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate you letting me call, and I look forward to tonight.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad to hear. Thanks. Take care, and God bless.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So we're getting there. What do we have? We have Serenity. Serenity says, I wasn't alive yesterday and showed receipts that the day Sebastian disappeared was also the anniversary of KP filed for divorce from Seth. Just a coincidence. I saw that. Let's get this call, and then we'll address that. This is Betty. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hi, Betty. This is Ginger.
Hey, Ginger. How are you doing?
Good.
So what do you have? What do you think's going on here? We have a lot of stuff, going on in this case. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I have a whole lot.
Well, we're ready for them.
It's my opinion, though.
That's okay. We like opinions. We like perspectives. So give it to me.
I just feel that everything was too clean. He just vanished, that it had to be planned out, number one. 100% it had to be planned. And I think he was old enough at that age where she wanted to do her thing with more schooling to better herself.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting older and starting to talk more and say more and do more. So I think that everything that, was going on at the home, that I just feel that day was the last day it was planned out. She had to have known everything that was around that area. Chris lived in that area for many years. They knew the right place, the right time, when to do things. I just feel like him being that age, he couldn't overpower her. And I think she maybe over-medicated him a little bit so that there wouldn't be too much noise, screaming, yelling, fighting off. And then I just feel like she hit him in the head, and then that was...
I'm interested in learning a little more about that head, because I didn't know about that. Some people came in here and told me that Seth had talked about it on a previous interview or something, made mention of this head trauma. But I never heard it, and I still to this day, I've heard there's been enough people that have said it that I know that he said it. So I'm actually going to be asking him about, just to clarify that, because I never heard this before. So I'd just like to hear a little more about this brain problem, this brain injury or concern, and just dive a little bit. So I've got that on the list as well. So we'll all learn a little more about the brain thing.
Yeah, you just have to know exactly where to hit a person with force with your hand, not so there's blood or anything.
Right. It doesn't take a lot.
She knows that. She knows, and that's military people know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why there's no evidence in that house, I believe. I believe it happened in that house, but it, and I also believe he had to be a little drugged so that there wasn't that much of a fight to show more evidence.
Yeah.
And I also believe that camper has a lot to do with the missing puzzle.
I do too. It's just he made it too much of a point. And it was one of two things. He just needed to find an excuse to get the heck out of Dodge because it was just too intense. There's that possibility too, that he just needed to collect his thoughts, and he's like, gets back there and is like, oh shit, I ain't going nowhere. It could be. We could be analyzing this wrong. There are two sides to it. We're looking at one side, not the other. But I really think because he had to go and get it right then and right there, when we know he paid for it in advance, it just doesn't bode with the situation.
Well, even when you're lying, you have to keep some of the facts in your story so that you don't stumble up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are little clues that they keep in their story, but they're not telling the whole story.
Yep.
But that's how they're keeping it straight.
Yeah, they're very vague, so they have room to move.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate you calling, and God bless. Have a great day, and please, please, please call back again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, I'm just going to turn the phones off just for a quick second while we get through some of these questions. I've got several questions already starred. I was in a live yesterday, and yes, I wanted to talk about that. I heard about that, and I think somebody came in here on a live and brought that up to us, and I'm like, I have to see that. Well, for the first time, I actually saw the paperwork, and guys, she filed for divorce February 26, 2016, exactly 8 years to the day that Sebastian disappeared. Now, is this subconscious? Is this intentional? Is it coincidental? I don't know. I wouldn't have believed it if somebody didn't show the receipts. I really wouldn't. I thought it was rumor. That's why I didn't bring it up. We talked about it because somebody had brought it up on a live show in chat. So we had said, and I even remember saying, no, there's no way. I have to see the paperwork for that. You guys remember me saying that? I'd have to see the paperwork for that. And sure as day is long, there was paperwork for that. And they showed that paperwork for that. And I'm going to get to some other starred stuff I've been going through here in starring, but I wanted to get to this first. Did you see that the day Sebastian disappeared was the anniversary that KP filed? Yeah. So we got that. I did see that, and I did see the receipts coming out. And like I said, I would have never thought about it. So I just want to go through here again. Missy, thank you so much. Nola's mama. QRPB, always good to see you. Kimberly, we're not by Man Boys. We had a lot of gift memberships today. So Sonia, Jen, and Kim. So if you receive, and then I almost missed you, B. Betty. Look at that. Good morning, B. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Love Bug. So Kimberly, Jen, and Sonia, if you received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, please don't forget to tell them thank you. Don't forget to tell them thank you. So getting on with some questions, D and A, is there another option to call in? If you're still in the chat, I can bring you up on panel if you'd like to have something to say, if that would be easier. But you'd be up here with me. I mean, you can turn your camera off if that would be easier for you if you'd like to speak, but that's the only other option I really have. We all fail our children in one way or another. If you are a parent and something happens to your child, you blame yourself if you didn't cause it. Wow. Yeah, I know my mom, when I'm upset, when I was younger, my mom, if I hurt myself, my mom hurt, You could see it in her face when I was upset or I was sick, Bottom line, none of us know what happened. Most of us believe Katie is sus, and in my opinion, Seth is innocent, but he's making choices that's taking away from what's important. And Tony's not helping. Well, Tony is really at the direction of Seth. And I think he's trying to calm Seth's voice down. But Seth still wants to be heard, even through Tony. And I think Tony might be being blamed for that. Just might be a different way of looking at things, potentially. Just saying. I don't know. I've talked to Tony on the phone. I've had lengthy conversations with him. We've kept it 100% to Sebastian. He seems like he's in the right place. Like I've spoken with the guy. I'm one of the most critical people in the world. Like if I think something ain't right, nothing stops me from opening my mouth. Like I will literally, if I feel an injustice, I do what I do. And so, and everybody knows I don't give a shit. If I truly believed something, there's no peer pressure in the world that would stop me from opening my mouth. I'm just blunt. I'm abrasive. I tell it from my viewpoint, just like it is. And, I don't have any reason to be deceptive or deceive my audience about a person. I'm not profiting off of it. I don't, if they're successful, who's that helping? The only person it's helping is Seth and Sebastian. If they're injured, who's that helping? The only people it's helping is Katie and Chris. That's the way I'm looking at it. That's the way everybody should be looking at it. That's the way everybody should be looking at it. I don't get to choose who Seth works with. I work with whoever is there. Why? Because we're all on the same mission, usually to find a missing or deceased person. I don't work with people that could be potential guilty people. I don't work with people that have done terrible things to children. I would never work with the Wells, whether or not the Wells were innocent of Summer's disappearance, because they kept their children in harm's way their entire upbringing. They let those kids live in squalor. They abuse those children regularly. I don't want any part of it. I'm not supporting parents like that. We have none of that information in this case. The only abuse that's being called out here recently is coming from them over here. These people. Nobody else. I don't care what happened 10, 15 years ago. I care about the here and now and what happened to this boy and who's responsible for this boy. That's it. And everybody keeps thinking, that Tony is some kind of, like he's going to well, everybody keeps saying, oh, he's taking advantage of. How is he taking advantage of Seth? It's easy to say that he's taking advantage of Seth, but how? Everybody said I was conning Layla Santinello's mom. Like, we were giving her cash, we were giving her shirts, we were giving her keychains, we were going out there searching, and people were calling up there saying that I am going to take advantage of her and rob her blind. And she's like, how? We're giving her money. I'm not in GoFundMe's or anything or monitoring other people's funds. I don't do that. But here I am being accused of the same thing that Tony's being accused of right now, and there is no way in hell. He's not a treasurer. He has no access to credit cards, no access to funds. They're not even doing fundraising. All they're doing is sitting on a channel trying to keep Sebastian's name out there like a spokesperson's supposed to do. But just like me, when you get clubbed over the head 1,000 times a day for just trying to do the right thing, your give a damn gets busted and you get a little mouthy. And I think that's the situation we're in. And the people that have triggered this response knew exactly what they were doing, in my opinion. Just saying. Just saying. Take it for what you will. I also don't think Seth did anything, most likely, but I can't say I don't know. I don't know he didn't, or that Chris and Katie did either. But I do agree that Chris and Katie look more sus. That doesn't make it fact. It is important to disappear. It's impossible. Good Lord, my reading. It's impossible to disappear from anywhere. It's not the Twilight Zone. There has to be an explanation, and Katie knows. Until she talks, he will not be found. With him being autistic and he can't handle being barefoot, he wouldn't have wanted to go far with no shoes on. That might be something. Maybe Tammy can help us with that, because because if her grandson had this episode, well, she would be the only one that has that so far that I've spoke to that has that experience. So she would probably be the resource with the most information on that. How far did her grandson go? I didn't even think to ask that, but I'm sure Tammy's around. She could probably answer that in chat. What is strange is Katie filed for divorce from Seth. Yep. And that's, guys, that is becoming, a talking point in this case right now. And that is raising my eyebrows, quite frankly, especially for those that have the premeditation as part of their theory. This would bode right into part of their theory, because let's face it. Wow. It's weird. I thought her and Chris have been together for 8 years. And it just dawned on me that they've been divorced for 8 years. I really think Katie and Chris were doing unsavory things before her and Seth got divorced. I don't know why I'm feeling that way, but I am. Joanne, respectfully, Tony is not the problem. The problem's focused on Tony being problem rather than the truth. That is exactly the truth. Everybody wants to blame Tony for this. You know what? If I walked into, and this is truthfully, if I walked into this situation, seeing everything that I see now, knowing everything that I know now, as a spokesperson I would have advised the exact same thing. Distance yourself, cut those ties, and start building your own platform so you have your own voice. Because it was just getting too toxic and everybody was running a narrative. And if you're going to have a narrative ran on you, that's why that's why I never really go on other people's platform. Very rarely do I go on other people's platform. The only time I ever go on other people's platform is to help them, right? So one of those reasons is because I control what goes on here, right? I control what goes on my platform. I control the messaging that comes out of this channel. So you only get that when you have that control. And with all the chaos going on, quite frankly, I would have advised the same thing. Cut the ties, do whatever needs to do. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Let's just roll through it. Let's move you over here. Let's start getting you set up on your own platform. Let's give you your own foundation to build on. And it's not a monetary thing. It's a bullshit thing. Okay? Let me be honest with you. It's not a monetary thing. It is a bullshit thing. He's tired of the bullshit. It's plain and simple. So people can take the narrative and run it whichever way they want. Clearly, they are already doing that. But at the end of the day, let me just bring truth to power. He's doing it because he's over the bullshit. Okay? I don't blame him. I'm over the bullshit. Honestly. Oh, God bless you, Southern. I missed you too. So if you received a gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, thanks, Southern too. Well, God bless you, love. God bless you. She's up walking and cutting a rug. No, I'm just joking. She's almost there, though. I know this is a stretch, but did KP and Seth got married in a church or where? Because I think it was Seth that said CP told him, if you want to find your son, go to church. He did say that. Another problem I have. So there is that. All right, guys. So there's all of our comments and commentary up to now that I grabbed that I thought that were important that you guys might enjoy looking at or reading or might go bode it well in your specific, talking point. I was just about to say this. They're now open. This is Betty. How can I help you? And where are you? Who are you? And where are you calling from? Sorry.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? I'm lost. I'm lost for words. So don't mind me.
I love your laugh, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I'm calling to just. For starters, I agree with much of what you say regarding this case. Mm-hmm. So I'll start with that. But I would like to also know if you would play what you said the police have said in the...
Yeah, I will. I'll go find that in, because it's definitely, I without a doubt know for a fact Eric Craddock said that because I watched it. So I will have to go back through my notes. I'm pretty sure I played it on one of my lives before, but I will go back and find that. We'll have to do that another day because I don't have time to search for it while I'm live. But I will get that receipt and put it out.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah. And the next thing is, I wasn't the one that made the statement, but I do agree with the person that said Sebastian was failed by everyone. And I say that because I remember Seth stating that Sebastian didn't want to go home. Mm-hmm. That was not years ago.
No, it wasn't.
I gathered that was pretty recent.
It was.
And I feel that as a parent, I know he left on Katie's watch. I get all of that, and I totally agree with that. However, when a child says to a parent or any adult they don't want to go home, that needs to be thoroughly investigated.
Well, yes and no.
And being that he was the father, mm-hmm. And from my understanding, he also told these things to the grandmother. She never said anything about it until after Sebastian was gone.
I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair because we don't know what she said to the grandmother. All we have is the grandmother heard, when her statement was so vague, we have literally no idea what was said to the grandmother. The grandmother is an emotional wreck. She's been up and down. He could have said that Chris was mean to him, and she just blew it off and is beating herself up for it because she didn't pry more. We don't know what that statement is. It's not fair to assess that with the little limited information we have.
Well, she said that he shared things with her that was happening in the home. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't. Do you understand that it could be he's being mean to me? He called me a retard. Those are not things that require DCS calls. Those are not abuse. They wouldn't even come out for stuff like that. So in their eyes, and I can tell you that with 100% certainty. So you're beating somebody up for statements we don't know what was made or what context they were made in. We just have emotional families that are blaming themselves because they got a missing child, which is customary. And everybody has said in here that when you have a missing child, you blame yourself for everything. Can we just possibly say that may be what we're dealing with grandma? Is it there? If we're literally saying that these two people over here are innocent until proven guilty, but yet we're condemning statements that we don't even know what the statements were, just vague inferences, so to speak. we're making a lot out of those vague inferences when we have a whole host of information leading us back to the Proudfoots. And just, I would like to know what those statements were, and nobody can tell me, because the grandma was so vague. Every time I ask him, well, what statements did she make? I don't know. Do you know what statements she made that Sebastian made to the grandmother? What specific statements she made?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah. Did you?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't know the statements that was made, but I know that there was some things said to her. But my point is this: regardless to what the statements were, it couldn't have been good. Whether it was that he was mean to, I'm saying there should have been more investigation put into this, I think, on everyone's part.
Yeah, but
so that's why I say, and I'm like you, Betty, I'm born in September, like you. I'm strong-willed and strongly opinionated, just as you are. So I'm going to still stand by. I think, in my opinion, they all failed him in some way.
Well, then I'm just questioning
I'm not gonna take that back.
Okay. Well, then I'm just going to question you on that, because you're so opinionated and so strong on that. Why do you think so you think that Sebastian, that when Chris asked his son several times why you won't go back and he would not tell him, what do you think he should have done? Just picked up the phone and start calling law enforcement and CPS? Would have been justified for that little bit of information?
I never said CPS should have been called at all. He should have convinced his son to tell him what he was talking about. He should have dug deeper, whatever that entails. He was the father.
Right.
Sebastian is the son.
So he should have triggered
child.
So we could go back to this. What happens if him pressing his son would trigger his son into an episode?
Look where we are. But look where we are now. It was worth. I think it would have been worth. I think it would have been worth it.
So he's a failure as a father because he didn't look into, and he should be dealing with all of this that he's dealing with from all these channels, because he was told that.
No. I am totally not in agreement.
So you're not on that page. Okay, I'm trying to gauge you here. I don't know if you're trying to. Okay.
No, I'm not trying. I think that what they're doing to him is crazy.
Okay.
It's not. No. I'm Team Sebastian, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I really am. I'm not on Proudfoot. I'm not on.
Or Team Sebastian.
I'm not on any side as far as the adults are
concerned.
concerned.
You're just analytical like me. You're just on a different.
Yeah, I just. Even if it was me, I mean, I'm not trying to beat anyone up. This is not the time for that.
Right.
But as you say, your channel is not, an echo chamber.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate it.
And I've just really been thinking of something that each person could have done differently, that maybe we wouldn't be where we are today. And I just feel in some places, and I just feel in some places they all dropped the ball. And that is what I stand on.
Yeah, and
that's not
I
going
have
to
to agree with
Sebastian
that.
back. Unfortunately, that's not going to bring him back.
Right.
I do believe that something nefarious has happened, 100%, and it happened on Katie's watch.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
I'm with you 1,000% there.
Do you feel that maybe a little hindsight 2020 might be able to be applied here? Like,
absolutely.
He probably is saying, man, I wish I would have pushed my son a little harder.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it still does not take away from the fact that
a day late, $1 short. At the end of the day, it's still a day late.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, love. Thank you so much for calling in and taking the time to explain it to me.
Thanks for taking my call.
God bless.
Yep. Bye-bye.
All right. So that, I think, was a great ending to our show. That was, I think that I like her. And I like the fact that she is opinionated and she can deal with me. Some people can't deal with it, right? So I do appreciate it. And we're not going to all agree 100% of the time or 100% of the aspect. And it really is giving a wholesome and bird's eye view of the situation from different perspectives, right? Can we say that there's fault on everybody here? I think she made a point that, there is. Hindsight 2020 is definitely going to creep up in a case like this. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. I'm sure Sebastian's father is going to be beating himself up for the rest of his life by not pursuing or pushing his son to open up a little more. And I'm sure at the time, everybody may have thought they were just doing the right thing. Sometimes, like I do, like even with my car, like I keep spending money on my car thinking I'm doing the right thing, but hindsight's 20/20, right? I kind of wish I would have just trusted my gut and said, this is an older car. You're about to start getting into thousands of dollars. Let's go ahead and just start refocusing this money on a new vehicle, right? It's one of those things where you're kind of damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, in my opinion. Is there blame to go around for everybody? She made valid points. I think the caller made valid points that even though we shouldn't be clubbing him over the head. I think in any type of situation that's like this, could somebody have done a little bit more? Yeah, but who, at the end of the day, who thinks this is going to happen to them, right? Who truly thinks that they're going to wake up one day and their child, is going to be the one that's missing? It's everybody else's. So it sucks. But, what do you do? The boy is gone, and I'm sure if anybody thought that this would have been the outcome, I'm absolutely 100% confident that people would have made a lot of different decisions in this case, from law enforcement to CPS to grandma to dad. I think a lot of people, to the teachers. I think if sometimes these things are, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And I've got to think that what we are hearing that is bothersome, that the little bit that we are hearing, it might pale into comparison to what's the reality. Because, again, a 15-year-old boy is gone, and he disappeared from inside his home, a locked home, with no evidence that the child walked out. Not even dog. The dog didn't even track from him. So, I don't know. We do have trackers out there. We've got Jules. I think she's still out there in the woods with her dogs. We've got a few other people out there, still looking. Terry Lynn's always looking. If you guys haven't been over to her channel, she's always out there. She can always use the support and the words of encouragement as she is, trucking through those woods looking for this boy. There are some good-hearted people out there that are working their ass off to try to find answers to bring this boy home, while his mom and his stepfather sit on their butt, run away from people, and hide. And I'm sorry, that's just inexcusable for me. And if they don't want me beating them up on my channel, all I'm asking them is to get off their ass and go out there and attempt to try to find him. But you're never going to find something that you don't believe is missing, or you know where it's at, or you don't care about. I'm sorry. I've never seen a mother 3 months in acting like this. Well, I have. Usually they have a short street life, and then they're behind bars. Just saying. This is the behavior. Katie, if you want to know what the behavior of a monster looks like, it's yours. Hiding and running away from home, a home that your child disappeared from. That's what's making us look at you like a monster. Because no parent, no mom in my chat can understand that. I've never given birth to a child in my life, and I can't understand that. I can't understand that. And I never will. All right, guys, I just want to tell you I appreciate each and every one of you guys being here. I got to go take care of some business. I will be back later today in about 2 hours. My live from TikTok will be dropping here on this channel. Right? Dropping here on this channel in about a couple hours, and I may premiere it. I may just drop it as a video. I'll see what kind of mood I'm in when I get back from where I'm going. So I'll see you guys soon. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you guys for being here and having the conversation with me. And let's start bringing this back where we debate the issues, not the people. Let's quit attacking each other. Let's come together. Let's figure this out, right? It's a little hard. I mean, I'm a passionate person. It's hard to hear something that goes totally against what I believe happened. But you know what? Let's explore it, right? We're wanting the truth? Let's explore it. Let's flip over all the freaking rocks, right? See how much dirt's under each and every one of them. Why not? All right, guys, don't forget, 8 o'clock, be here or be square. Be there or be square. There we go. Should I attempt my closing? I think at this point I need to stop. I just need to stop. Okay, now. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something, because an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, folks, please be kind. Please be safe and kind to one another, even big, mean old Bullhorn Betty and Seth. Okay, throw Tony in there too. You guys got to be nice to him too. And you're going to like it. Damn it. All right, have a great day. See you soon.